This is an improvisation. This is an improvisation. This is also an improvisation. But what is improvisation? Hello everybody and welcome, I'm Andrei, and in this video series I want to take you on a journey to discover improvisation in music. Improvisation is a core practice and concept of my music, and a very important topic for me. If you're a musician, it's probably part of your experience too. For example, when you jam with other people or on your own, when you write a melody in your DAW or manipulate the sound of your synths, when you noodle around with your guitar and your pedals. I hope this series of videos will help you to discover, rediscover, or get into some unknown details of this amazing world that is part of every musician's and no musician's life. Without further ado, let's start. What is improvisation? To find an answer to this question, I will share my personal experience in different situations where improvisation is involved, and ask other musicians and friends what's their connection with it. I also took a lot of interesting points of view from the book Improvisation by Derek Bailey that I highly recommend to read since it's full of very illuminating thoughts and documents on the topic. Historically, improvisation predates any other music. Mankind's first musical performance couldn't have been anything other than a free improvisation, and I think it is a reasonable speculation that at most times since then there will have been some music making most aptly described as free improvisation. Giving a definition of improvisation is always a challenge, since it's inherently based on the different context in which it is used. Those contexts are the most varied and they probably cover all of the spectrum of music, with the exception of some specific niches. So it will be highly presumptuous, and probably not useful at all, to try to define and put improvisation in a box with a label on it. Its nature is ever-changing, and any definition is basically an oversimplification that gives us a blurry picture of the music of a certain moment and place. On the other hand, we can find some common features in improvisation, and we can recognize certain aspects of its practice that are shared through time and space. To help us having a wider picture, I borrowed the two big categories chosen by Bailey in his books: idiomatic and non-idiomatic. Idiomatic improvisation refers to a specific music language, like jazz, funk, Indian ragas, flamenco, etc. In this case, the musician improvises using a predetermined vocabulary that is perceived as part of the language by the musician and the audience. Non-idiomatic improvisation refers to a music-making practice that it is not connected to a specific music language and vocabulary, and explores the possibilities of total freedom in the process of playing. It is mostly known as free improvisation. These two categories are useful to take a step into improvisation since they are precise and at the same time vague enough to help us grasp some important general features of improvised music. And of course, since improvisation is a living matter, you can have contaminations between these two overimposed labels. My last album, Limestone, together with Zotlukta, is a good example of non-idiomatic improvisation. Here we explore the sound of our instruments and everything evolves from the interplay between the two of us. There is no music vocabulary as a reference, and the improvisation is set completely free, even from the instruments themselves. On the other hand, Le True Electronique is a collective project I'm part of, and there's a lot of idiomatic improvisation in it. Nothing is written or decided beforehand in our music, and everything is just played live during concerts with no rehearsals. But we refer to a common vocabulary, like for example the one of reggae, jazz, punk, rock, drum and bass, etc., which can be changed between two improvisations or even in the same one. Given the fact that there is no specific label to define improvisation, how can you learn it? Who can improvise? Where to start? Free improvisation, in addition to being a highly skilled musical craft, is open to use by almost anyone, beginners, children, and non-musicians. The skill and intellect required is whatever is available. It can be an activity of enormous complexity and sophistication, or the simplest and most direct expression, a lifetime study and work, or a casual dilettante activity. It can appeal to and serve the musical purposes of all kinds of people. I really love this democratic and non-elitist core of improvisation, which is especially true in non-idiomatic and free improvisation. This democratic facet is extended not only to the musicians but also to the audience. The act of improvising is extremely bound to the situation in which it is done, and to the audience, which can determine and change the mood and the result of the improvisation with its reactions. In a certain way, the audience is an active part in the creation of the music it will listen to. The responsibility of the musical result is also determined by the audience. Undeniably, the audience for improvisation, good or bad, active or passive, sympathetic or hostile, has a power that no other audience has. It can affect of that which is being witnessed. And perhaps, because of that possibility, the audience for improvisation has a degree of intimacy with the music that is not achieved in any other situations. There is another aspect that put the audience of improvised music in a different position in comparison with the non-improvised music one. In composed music, the meaning and the emotional result are most of the time predetermined by the author, who wants to communicate a specific message. In improvised music, the message and the mood come from a shared process between the musician and the audience. The audience of improvised music is not a monolithic entity that has to feel what the author wants. The audience can influence the music with its perception and its reactions, that can vary from person to person. The music, especially in free improvisation, is not predetermined by the musician, but it is discovered and shaped on the spot in dialogue with the audience reactions. In my opinion, this aspect gives a very different quality to improvised concerts that become a meaningful shared experience where there is no consumers nor producers. Improvising is a sincere and intimate act. One of the most satisfying things I ever had the luck to live is to be completely present in the moment, focused and open to create a dialogue through music with other musicians and the audience. That's why I love so much playing live. It's one of my favorite activities in life, the one that makes me feel in the right place, at the right moment, doing the right thing. Such moments of sincereness retains a magical quality to them. They create connection between humans in ways that are difficult to explain and formalize. And I think we need more of these quality connections and moments in our lives, especially in such refined times. And what's your experience with improvisation? Let me know in the comments. But now, a short summary of what will happen in the next episodes of this series. I'm going to talk about different aspects of improvisation, like for example, how you improvise in solo and what's your experience when you are alone on a stage in front of an audience. How it is to improvise in a duo or in a large ensemble, or even the different type of instant composition techniques, like for example conduction and many others. Let me know if you want to explore a specific topic or if you're curious about something in particular, and of course don't forget to follow the channel, obviously, to be notified about the next videos. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and see you very soon. Bye!